So good afternoon, my dear panelists. This afternoon, I'm going to present to you the results or the findings of my thesis entitled Demystifying the Phenomenon of Friendship Benefits Relationships, or the FWBRs. So let's have first a short review or a brief review of some changes that have happened during my proposal defense, and today, of course, the pre-oral defense. So for the research title during the proposal defense, it's No Emotions, Just Sex, Demystifying the Phenomenon of FWBRs. And for final title, Demystifying the Phenomenon of Friendship Benefits Relationships. For the SOP, Study 1, Study 2, Study 3 during the proposal defense, which composed of 7 SOPs. And for pre-oral defense, 4 SOPs with additional SOP for educational materials on FWBRs. So for the research design, originally it was multi-method research design, combinations of 2 qualitative designs and 1 quantitative. But I came up with qualitative research design, specifically descriptive case study. So, okay, so this one, you have seen this already. This No Emotions, Just Sex. This phrase is the common lines among the following Hollywood and local movies related to friendship benefits relationships. So then for the research problem, according to Uhano Batangan, 2012, one of the challenges faced by the Filipino adolescents is when it comes to their interpersonal relationship. So adolescent stage is a period for Filipino adolescents to explore their intimate and sexual relationships. And in local terms, we call it as pagbibinata or pagdadalaga, or in Bicol term, we call them as the jóvenes. Then with regard to the conceptual definition of friendship benefits relationship, so FWBRs is a type of interpersonal relation which includes sexual activities between friends or among friends, but it's actually it excludes romantic relationship, commitment, or what is emotional ties between them. And that's according to the definition of Berkashire-Haig and Regnim 2017. Then for the SOP or statement of the problems, number 1, what are the characteristics of Filipino adolescents involved in FWBRs in terms of self-perception, family dynamics or interactions, personality traits, and attachment styles. Then for the SOP number 2, what are the contributing internal and external factors that influence Filipino adolescents to engage in FWBRs? Then for number 3, what are the positive and negative consequences involved in FWBRs? And for number 4, what educational program and materials may be produced on FWBRs? Then for the methodology part, so I utilized the qualitative research design, specifically the descriptive case study. That's for the research design. And for the participants, I had Filipino adolescents aging from 19 to 25 years old. For the instrument, researcher-made instrument, adapted and modified from the study of Weber et al. Actually, I emailed them po, then they responded to me that they permitted me to use their instrument. Then for the procedures, purposive sampling technique, and of course for the ethical considerations, informed consent and consent form. Then for the data analysis, I utilized the 6 phases of thematic analysis as proposed by Brown and Clark 2006. Then before I discuss to you the results, let me just show you the demographic profile of the participants. So disclaimer muna po tayo. So the participants' names that have been mentioned here, as well as in my paper, are their preferred names or fictitious name. Also, the photos and images that have been included in the presentation were just taken from Google for the sake of this presentation. So case study number 1, AXEL. Si AXEL po, preferred name niya po yun. So age 25, gay, homosexual. So with regard to their sexual orientation po, talagang they admitted po na they are homosexual. Same with the Javer later on po. Then Roman Catholic in a romantic relationship. Then with regard to their FWBR started po, it means po yung age kung kailan po nag-start yung FWBRs po nila. So 18 years old. Then hanggang ngayon, yung number of FWBRs po is 2. Then yung FWBR status niya po ngayon is terminated. So pag sinabi pong terminated, hindi na po siya ongoing. So nag-end na po. Terminated na siya. So birth order, youngest. Number of siblings, 7. Then currently po, unemployed po siya. Then parent status, the father is deceased. Then socioeconomic status, middle class, urban area, then private. From private po siya, nag-graduate. Then for Javer naman po, 21 years old, gay, bisexual, Roman Catholic, single, FWBR started, 17 years old. Number of FWBRs, 1. FWBR status po, ongoing, middle, sibling, 6, employed, mother, deceased, lower class, rural, and public school po. Then for VOGART, 23 years old, male, heterosexual, Roman Catholic in a romantic relationship. FWBR started 18 years old, number of FWBRs 5. Then status po ng FWBRs niya is ongoing po. Then birth order eldest, number of siblings 3, employed, living together, the parents, lower class, urban, and private school. Then for Josh, 24 years old, male, heterosexual, Roman Catholic, in a romantic relationship. FWBR started 19 years old, 6 so far overall, then terminated na po ngayon. Birth order, middle child, siblings 3, employed, living together, the parents, then middle class, urban, and private school. Then for Tony, 19 years old, male, heterosexual, Roman Catholic, in a romantic, single, 17 years old, 1, then ongoing. Birth order, middle child, siblings 3, student, college student po, particularly siya ngayon. Then parents living together, middle class, rural, and from public school po. Then the last but not the least, we have Magdalena, 23 years old, female, heterosexual, Roman Catholic, in a romantic relationship. FWBR started 20 years old. Number of FWBRs 3. Status po ng FWBRs ngayon is terminated. Then birth order eldest child. Number of siblings 2. Employed, parents living together, middle class, urban, and private. So those are the demographic profile of my participants in this study. So let me show you this one, the Cohen's Kappa agreement po, with regard to the themes and patterns that have surfaced or emerged from my study. So the Cohen's Kappa po, as it measures the validator's agreement among the themes and patterns that have emerged or surfaced within the data with the use of SPSS or the statistical package for social sciences. So based on the results po, so far yung mga themes and patterns ko po. So in this present study, the themes and patterns are within the 0.41 to 0.99 with its corresponding interpretations or descriptions from moderate agreement up to near perfect agreement. So yun po naging results ng pag-validate po ng mga themes and patterns. Then, let us now proceed with the results of this present study. So for SOP number 1, with regard to the characteristics of Filipino adolescents in terms of self-perception, family dynamics or interactions, personality traits, and attachment style. So let's start with the self-perception with a Cohen's Kappa of 0.709, which means substantial agreement. So with regard to the self-perception, first, they perceive themselves as a goal-driven person. By the way po, I will not read any more the statements given by the participants since I have stated them already in my paper. Again, in this po, they perceive themselves as a goal-driven person. Then they have the feeling of loneliness. They perceive themselves as a good person. They experience self-confusion about themselves and in a relationship itself. They perceive themselves as a fragile person. They perceive themselves as an irresponsible child or sibling. They are independent persons. They are being accepted with their sexuality or sexual orientation. So for the themes and patterns, summary for self-perception, perceiving oneself as a golden person, feeling of loneliness, perceiving oneself as a good person, experiencing self-confusion, perceiving oneself as a fragile person, perceiving oneself as an irresponsible child or brother, being an independent person, and being accepted with one's sexuality. So those are the themes and patterns for self-perception, common themes and patterns among the participants. So let's proceed with the family dynamics and interactions. So with a Cohen's Kappa of 0.904, which means near perfect agreement. So they are closer with their mother than their father. They have a barrier towards their father. They are being away from their mother. They have a barrier towards their parents. They perceive their parents as their ideal parents. They have a good relationship with parents. They perceive their parents having a smooth relationship. They have a smooth relationship with their siblings. Then they have hesitations toward their family members or relatives. They are being worried about their financial stability in the family. They have a supportive family. They have a traditionalist family. They have a smooth relationship with their friends. So to sum up the themes and patterns for family dynamics and interactions, being closer with the mother than father, having a barrier towards the father, being away from the mother, having barrier towards the parents, perceiving parents as ideal parents, having a good relationship with parents, perceiving parents having smooth relationship, having a smooth relationship with siblings, having hesitations toward the family members or relatives, being worried about financial stability in the family, having a supportive family, having a traditionalist family, having a smooth relationship with friends. So those are the themes and patterns for family dynamics and interaction. So let's proceed with the personality traits with a Cohen's Kappa of 0.561, which means moderate agreement. So they are open to new experiences or as being explorative, being an introvert or self-introspective person for Tony alone. Then they are extroverts or outgoing. One participant is an ambivert person as well, which is balance of being introvert and extrovert. Then this one po is unique personality trait for two participants. They are omnivert persons, which means that their personality of being introvert and extrovert depending on extreme situations. Then to sum up the themes and patterns for personality traits, so majority of the participants are open to experiences and extrovert persons. Pero yung omnivert po dito, it would fall under extroversion na rin po. So open to experience and extrovert. So for the attachment style with the Cohen's Kappa of 0.911, which means near perfect agreement. So they are secured attached. They are avoidant attached. They are also anxious, ambivalent attached. Then having disorganized attachment as well for AXEL and JVR. So to sum up it, most of the participants are avoidant and anxious, ambivalent attached. Then for the contributing internal and external factors that influence them to engage in FWBRs, let's start with the internal factors with a Cohen's Kappa of 0.806, which means substantial agreement. So they experience sexual needs or pleasures. They have an unplanned decision to engage in this relationship. They experience hormonal body changes. and they long for affection and care. So the themes and patterns for internal factors, we have experiencing sexual needs or pleasures, having an unplanned decision to engage, experiencing hormonal body changes, longing for affection and care. So let's proceed with external factors with a Cohen's Kappa of 0.949, which means near perfect agreement. So they experience lack of emotional investment and commitment in FWBRs. They have a level of trust and comfort from their sexual partners. They are being influenced by their peers or barkada. They are being influenced by social media such as Facebook and Tinder app. They are being attracted to their sexual partner. They are being influenced by mass media such as movies and pornographic sites. They experience a romantic relationship breakup. Kumbaga, coping mechanism na po nila yung pag-engage sa FWBRs. Then they are being intoxicated by alcohol or liquor use. They are being single while uncommitted with other. And lastly, the inaccessibility of a guidance counselor in their respective schools. Then to sum up the themes and patterns for external factors, we have lacking emotional investment and commitment in a relationship, having a level of trust and comfort from a sexual partner, being influenced by peers or barkada, being influenced by social media, being attracted to a sexual partner, being influenced by mass media, experiencing a romantic relationship breakup, being intoxicated by alcohol or liquor use, being single while uncommitted with other, and inaccessibility of a guidance counselor. Those are the themes and patterns for external factors. So let's proceed with the positive and negative consequences involved in FWBRs. So let's start with the positive consequences with a Cohen's Kappa of 0.807, which means substantial agreement. So they perceive FWBRs as a positive aspect of their relationship. They experience emotional satisfaction in FWBRs. They learn to love themselves even more. It boasts their masculinity. Then for the positive consequences for FWBRs, we have perceiving FWBRs as a positive aspect of a relationship, learning to love oneself, experiencing emotional satisfaction, boasting one's masculinity. Then let's proceed with the negative consequences involved in this type of relationship with a Cohen's Kappa of 0.855, which means a near perfect agreement. So they might get possible health risks or diseases such as STDs, HIV, or AIDS. Then they experience a feeling of guilt since all of them have a strong faith in God. Then they're being attached to their sexual partner. They experience uncertainty in a relationship and to their sexual partner. They have expectations from their sexual partner. They are being paranoid in a relationship. They experience emotional distress in a relationship as well as from their sexual partner. And lastly, it affects their relationship with their other friends. So to sum up the themes and patterns for negative consequences, having possible health risks or diseases, feeling of guilt, being attached to a sexual partner, having an uncertainty in a relationship, having high expectation from a sexual partner, being paranoid in a relationship, experiencing emotional distress, and affecting relationship with other friends. So let's proceed with the educational program and materials that may be produced on FWBR. So this one for the personal development in the new normal. So the question is, why in the new normal? So this program is, as you can see in my paper, I embedded it there. This program is actually flexible. So in other words, the facilitator of the program should be flexible as well, because it can be run either face-to-face classes or via online classes. specifically via Zoom or Google Meet. So in any platforms po nowadays. So kaya po siya personal development in the new normal. Then this one po, I have embedded this program and activities in my thesis, and it has focused more on this one, sa personal social development, since it is one of the domains of guidance and counseling. Then this one po, this is the AXEL framework, or the Collaborative for Academic, Social, Emotional Learning Framework. So the framework for systemic, social, and emotional learning is an integrated framework for how educators, families, and communities can partner to support social and emotional learning, or the SEL. So in this framework po, I have focused only on the relationship skills. This has been elaborated by Doc Shake sa mga webinars po ni Doc Shake, that SEL should be incorporated in all modules and activities. Then I also got this one po during the IPCAP, where nag-attend, I think that was Miss Earl and si Ma'am Linda po. Then, well, in our school po, particularly in St. Agnes, if I'm not mistaken, we utilize the AXEL framework, especially in doing our homeroom modules. So this is the basis po. Then this one po, then the homeroom guidance is a comprehensive, program development and proactive program designed to equip K-12 learners with life skills on 3 domains. So we have the academic development, personal and social development, and career development. But in this program po, since FWBRs is a type of interpersonal relationship, I have focused only po on personal, social development. As what I have stated in my paper, these are the proposed national standards, competencies, and indicators for personal social development, as given by Dr. Salazar Clemenya, based on ASCA, or the American School Counselor Association. So in St. Agnes also, we utilize this one po. Then ito po yung mga ginawa ko pong modules. I have module 1, 2, 3, 4, but just to give you po an idea kung yung mga title. So for module 1 po, Crash Landing on You, Cultural Diversity in the Classroom. Module 2, As a Friend, Red Light and Green Light in Friendship. Module 3, It's Okay to Not Be Okay, Understanding Self and Family. Then module 4, No Strings Attached, Understanding Friends with Benefits Relationship. So before I proceed with the conclusion po, so dito po sa program and activities that I have made, in other words po, hindi po pwede mag-module 4, 3, and 2 kung hindi po nag-undergo ng module 1. So it is necessary po for the facilitator to execute first the module 1 bago po yung module 2, 3, and so forth. So module 1 muna po. Then to conclude this one po, the results of my study, for the conclusion, so for the self-perception, majority of the participants, so those who are involved in FWBRs, they perceive themselves as a goal-driven and good persons. Then for the family dynamics and interactions, so those who are involved in FWBRs, they have a barrier towards their father, and they are being away from their mother. Then for the personality traits, those who are involved in FWBRs are open to experiences and extrovert as well. Then for the attachment styles, those who are involved in FWBRs are avoidant and anxious ambivalent attached. Then for the internal factor po that influence them to engage, so yung common po sa lahat is they experience sexual needs and pleasures. That's for the internal factor. And for the external factors, we have 2 that are common among all the participants: lacking emotional investment in a relationship. Then they have a level of trust and comfort from their sexual partner. Then for the positive consequences po that are common for them, they perceive FWBRs as a positive aspect of a relationship, and they experience emotional satisfaction. Then the last but not the least, for the negative consequences, they might get possible health risk or diseases such as STDs, HIV or AIDS in the relationship. Then they experience a feeling of guilt. Then for the educational program material, as what I have stated po earlier, so this one for the personal social development in the new normal, especially this one po, this will be of great help in addressing their personal social concerns, especially in this time of new normal per se. So for the recommendation po, this one, as for the general recommendation, although I have specified a lot of recommendations in my paper, for the general recommendation, based on the conclusions given, those who are involved in FWBRs will need further assessment, such as counseling, to help them assess one's interpersonal skills. In doing so, they will be able to learn how to make friends and have better relationship with other people, with others. Then they will be able to address their personal and social needs and to develop feelings of self-acceptance and work to deepen their self-perception and self-perception about themselves, as well as to realize the importance of family in their lives. Given the fact na, yun nga po, significant factor yung family dynamics and interactions for engagement in FWBRs. Then this one po, in case man the future researcher, I would like to recommend that pag-aralan po pa rin, ito po, kung tingnan po kung is there a significant relationship between engaging in FWBRs and individuals' intelligence quotient. Correlated po ba ang IQ ng individuals sa pag-engage ng individuals sa friendship benefits? So, recommendation ko din po for the future researchers. And the last but not the least, I would like to recommend also for future researcher na pag-aralan po this one, another type of relationship, which is X with benefits. So in my case, so in case I'm still interested with this study, I might study po another one, na another type of interpersonal, which is X with benefits. Kung may pagkakaiba ba siya sa friends with benefits. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. And that's my study entitled Demystifying the Phenomenon of Friends with Benefits Relationships, or what we call the FWBRs. Good evening po, my dear panelists.